16 years. I've been in this country 16 years, and it's been my privilege to be able to travel extensively, intensively within this country. An extraordinary privilege. Travel in Thailand is synonymous with beautiful temples, outstanding national parks, glorious beaches, and an abundance of wildlife. And yet I've discovered that there's more. There are so many more new experiences that we could have. Of course, anytime you want to do something new, it usually take a risk. You need to take a chance, and as we've heard this evening, this will often result in change. So let's take a journey. This journey is going to be a 2,000-kilometer journey done in under 10 minutes. Thai driving speed. We're going to travel from Bangkok all the way out to Ubon Ratchathani to the very edge of Thailand. Then we're going to cut back through the heart of Isan to Lampang in the north, and then head back to Bangkok. And on this journey, we're going to stop off, and I'm going to show you some of the premier rock art and dinosaur sites which are in this country, and which make this country the leading center in Southeast Asia for this kind of interest. So let's get going. 164 kilometers from Bangkok. Hang a right. Be careful at the U-turn. We went to this temple, and we go to the rock garden at the rear, this beautiful rock garden. And there in a rock shelter, and high on the wall, is this image. Thai archaeologists have interpreted this image as representing a family scene. So if we look closer, what we see is an archer, his bow, his trusty dog, the child sitting on the ground, and an extraordinary image pertinent to today, I would say, of this pregnant woman. To the right, the artist creates this image of people dancing by raising the arms and twisting the body. The depth in the scene shows the artistry which was there. These are not drawings of stick men. This is true art. But we can't linger. We need to travel on along Route 24 all the way out to the very edge of Thailand. Overlooking the Mekong River, looking out to Laos, is the National Park of Taem. And beneath the cliff of Taem, there's a path, a very easy path. Don't be worried. Within 2 or 3 minutes, this is what you'll see. These images at the top are of catfish. They are 2 meters in length, making these the largest rock art images in Southeast Asia. Catfish at the top. And right down in the corner beside me, this image has been interpreted as representing the ray fish. Both species live in the Mekong, and both species are still there today. But in the center are these curious, almost alien-like images. Closer inspection reveals that these images are actually bamboo fishing baskets, which, Put has corrected my pronunciation, are called, wait for it, some. These baskets are still constructed in Isan today and around Thailand, constructed of bamboo and used in flooded rice fields and small rivers in order to catch fish. But we must press on. Except, wait a minute, this is the most important image to be found at Taem. This is an image of river buffalo being led through rice fields. And what this gives us is evidence of the early agrarian agricultural culture of the people who were actually painting on these rock walls and leaving us these messages. But on we go. We're now turning into the heart of Isan, to the cliff of Phu Wiang, and accompanied by Supergirl, because you'll need the company because the steps are so incredibly steep up the front of this rock face. 150, I counted every one of them, takes us to this Buddhist shrine which protects the rock wall, where we see an entirely different form of art called a petroglyph. Here, the cliff has been carved directly using metal tools. Here we would have a link probably to the Bronze Age. And within the cluster of images which are there, we can still find images of humans and of forest animals, perhaps a deer. We must move on to dinosaurs. In the small forest park of Phu Faek, a short distance away, on the riverbed in 1996, I believe, 2 Thai schoolgirls picnicking with their parents noticed imprints in the rock bed of the river. These imprints turn out to be the tracks of theropods, round about 140 million years old, and probably weighing in at round about 2,000 kilograms. Slightly more than myself. So here, you truly can walk in the footsteps of dinosaurs. This is an extraordinary thing about Thailand's resources like this, is that we can get very close to them, something which is very difficult to do in other countries. I'll return to that point. Close by is Sernton Dinosaur Museum. In my opinion, this is without doubt the best museum in Thailand. The quality of its displays are just exceptional. And this is the single largest collection of dinosaur artifacts in Southeast Asia. You really should visit here. But we must move on. Now we move to the mountains of Nam Nao. We're moving towards Phetchabun province. And we don't go into the national park. We travel instead to the village of Nam Nao. And down some rough farm trails, we end up at this tiny sala. And then we take the steps on the left, and we descend down the slippy hillside. And at the bottom, we come across this extraordinary slab of rock. It sits at an angle of 40 degrees, 300 meters wide, 150 meters high. And up the center of this, as you can see on the right-hand image, are Dinosaur Trackways. And there's 3 sets of trackways to be seen. I want to mention at this point that most of the places that I'm referring to are incredibly accessible, and they are wonderful places to visit. The problem with this site is that it lies outside the national park, and therefore it lies outside the protection of the national park. And it concerns me that such incredible resources lack the protection which they deserve. Now we're in Lampang. We're right in the north, and we visit the cliff of Phratu. This is the largest collection of rock art in Thailand. It's an extraordinary distance to get there, some 50 meters from the car. Walk behind this sign here, and you can walk for 300 meters on a beautifully prepared path with signposts and information, and view more than 300 or 400 rock art images. My personal favorites are the mountain goat, the sero, a species which can still be seen in Thailand today. Oxen, extraordinary artistry. A collection of hands, which on inspection reveal that this is not adults, but in fact is a community. There are men and women and children's handprints here, rather than just thinking it's the artists. We've turned south and we're nearly back. 2,000 kilometers in 6 minutes, it turns out. And we've just got time as we pass the city of Tak to drop in here, because there we can find a 72.2 meter petrified tree fossil, which is the world's largest tree fossil, reckoned to be around 800,000 years old. This means that the original tree would have been about 100 meters tall and would have ranked alongside the giant sequoias of California, which we have today. So our journey's finished, and I hope that maybe just a few of these images might inspire you to go and visit some of these new places in what for me has turned out to be the discovery of a very extraordinary and amazing Thailand. Thank you.